Hey, Cancerians. How y'all doing? Welcome. We are going to be taking a look at your February through March, your Imbolc season, general reading here. So, first of all, incredibly positive elements at play for you during this time period. I'm really happy to see it. In your meditation, just briefly, I saw the image of a hummingbird, which is such a gorgeous energy. It's about the sweetness of life, color in your world. It has a Page of Swords energy, which is about learning new ideas, paying attention to the details. And I saw this hummingbird fly off and land on a rainbow. And then the rainbow and the hummingbird, instead of so vibrantly colored, turned completely black and white and then gray, like an ashen gray. And then the hummingbird like detached itself from the rainbow, flew, shook off all the gray, and was like a brown finch underneath. And I saw the words, change is good, but compromise is not. Now, compromise is usually a good thing, but I feel like in this context, I do feel like you are being called to focus on the finer details of something going on within and around you. I feel like sometimes we have a big dream, like somewhere over the rainbow, and it's all very, Dorothy-esque, and we, it's that sort of bright and sunny, like we're going to be able to get this and all the exciting bits. But there's certain aspects that need to be taken care of or calling your attention into focus about some of the, I want to see some of the finer points and details, but some of the less fun stuff, right? Like some of the analytics, some of the the financing. What are the details? What does your forecast look like? What is your tax information? Like something around that, or some of the stuff that maybe isn't as if it's not about work for you and it's about relationships. Hummingbird is very much about that too. It's about looking at the stuff that maybe as a Cancerian, your inclination is to focus on the positive and look away from. You're being asked to look at the whole picture, not just the stuff that's the feel good stuff. So you're coming through as an elk during this time as your animal energy, which this is such a beautiful energy of grounding, right? It's a beautiful earth energy. This represents the emperor in the tarot, which speaks of, positioning yourself into a place of authority and responsibility. I do feel like you are being asked to take on a level of responsibility, whether this is financial, where you're carrying the majority of the financial load in your situation, or, being asked to take on more responsibility at work, or you have others that you're responsible for, whatever this is. This could be emotionally too, or you're having to, take the brunt of the weight here. And that's it. It feels like it looks good on you, Cancer. It does feel like it looks good on you. Inherently you do appreciate being needed. It's just about knowing that those who need you also appreciate you as well, right? There's the rub. I do feel like you're surrounded by people that do appreciate you, and those that don't have to receive the benefit of all you have to give, right? So that elk energy also speaks of grounding, right? How important it is to stay grounded, especially during this time when the collective energy is so chaotic and sad and in need of healing for so many people all over the world. It seems like, all the more important to ground, get into nature, and really allow yourself to, stay connected to what matters and what you have to be grateful for in your personal circumstances. It can be incredibly helpful for Cancers in particular, because you guys have a way of feeling very deeply and taking on the pain of others, okay? Even others you don't know, like that you see on the news, right? Similar to Pisces. So you are coming through as the Four of Wands, and I love this for you. And this honestly, it makes a lot of sense with what I'm picking up on as you as the emperor, of having to kind of be the example or carry the load, or kind of, be the emotional support as well. 1111, synchronicity, sign, celebration, happy home, happy family. But I feel like there's a focus on the home place, or focus on your own backyard in terms of tending to it, making sure everything's okay. 1111, again, signs and synchronicities. It really feels like there's an aspect to this where you just have a deep-seated knowing that though there's a lot going on at the moment, or a lot required of you, that there's nowhere else you would rather be in some way, shape, or form, which is good, which means you're focusing on what you have to be grateful for and looking at the small things that are working, right? I also feel like there's a sense of like staying positive. I feel like I can hear you telling someone else, like, let's stay positive, let's look at the positive. And I feel like that's beautiful, Cancer. More of that. In your place of challenge, you have the Five of Swords. So this is a, can be a challenging energy where, people are coming outside of their integrity when it comes to you or their choices. Could be also you, feeling like you're on the receiving end of some energy that you don't deserve, and that you want no part of. So, this feels like an external influence rather than an internal one. I do feel like there could be something in your circumstances that just doesn't, sit quite right with you or doesn't feel quite in accordance with what's fair to you as you see it. This could be your attitude about something going on in the world, or when you look out in the world, this can be your perspective. Because it's in your place of challenge as well, I would really examine the aspects of you because remember in the meditation, it was like change is good. 5 is a number of change. And so you have 5 of Wands here too, another 5. 5 is a number of change. Change is good, compromise is not. If you are ever called in, and this is about, compromising your ethics possibly, or what you think is fair or right. If you find yourself in a position where you feel like you're being asked to compromise something you're not comfortable with, in whatever shape that takes, whether that's in a personal context, familial, work, whatever, really think about that, because your ethics are everything to you, Cancer. So really, really think about that. And I feel like for Cancer as well, what can be incredibly helpful is thinking about, if you have a choice before you, think about how you would feel if someone else made that choice for you and it were to affect you, right? Is this choice going to affect other people, and how would I feel if I was in their shoes? This can be in small ways too. This can be in small ways, and this can be in big ways and medium ways, right? But just think about how your integrity might be compromised or in threat of being compromised during this time. And really, really, really take a look at that closely. Remember all this gray, the rainbow that turned to gray. Nobody can make you compromise anything about you or within you but you, okay? Change is good. Compromise is not in this context. So your advice here is 5 of Wands. This is putting up the good fight. Especially when you know that you're in the right and that you have, you have a righteous cause here. This could be putting up a fight for others. This could be an aspect of your work or something that you're putting out into the world, that really you're acting as a voice for the disenfranchised, or casting a spotlight on something that isn't right. This could be within your personal relationships, as, showing up and being willing to, put in the work and even meet with energy that feels a bit challenging, but being willing to put in the time and put in the effort and go to the mattress for it, as it were. This just feels like, keep on putting the effort in, regardless of how unpleasant or challenging the obstacles may seem, because this is a temporary aspect that will pass. If it's important enough to you, then put in the effort. Okay, that's it. Victory is the Magician. This is the only major arcana you have outside of the Emperor, represented by the elk here, which is a destined or fated event. So where you're ending in your victory is very much going to happen. It's very much due. So this is sheer force of will. This is, you taking your will, your purpose, your focus, your desire, and really using all the tools at your disposal to manifest your desired reality. That is your victory. He's literally raising his hand in victory, and you've got it in your victory position. So I really do feel like you have the power and the opportunity around you during this time to come out of this in not just a better position that you were before, but also feeling empowered within your own ability to manifest as the Magician as a result of this time. There could be something, as a result of coming through this time, greater responsibility or a shift around your work or how you do your work. There's a win that happens here that elevates you to somewhere even better than you were in some way, whether that's shifting an unhealthy dynamic in a relationship to one that's, got more balance because you're sticking up for yourself and not backing down, or it is within your work where you're going, I don't want to take this anymore. I'm going to ask for a raise. I'm going to ask for more time at home, hybrid situation, whatever it is, like put your neck out for what really matters to you, and then watch how you manifest it, right? Something about that. If you're willing to risk it, there's a worthy reward in it. And you'll know what this is. You're Cancer, you're deeply intuitive. You're going to know exactly what this is when and as it arises. Your outcome is the freaking Ace of Pentacles, which could not be better. This is newness, right? This is material wealth. This is home wealth. This is financial security for the long term. This is a new beginning in a way that I really see some of you getting promoted or asking for something at work or asking for something within your, it's like you ask and you shall receive is what I'm getting. Ask and you shall receive. I think it could surprise you just how much you could get. You're just like asking for it and be willing to put your neck out for it. And also, the emperor has a lot of responsibilities, and that's why he makes the big bucks. So there's something about this of being rewarded for all the, what you're actually worth. Your worth is rewarded. That's what this feels like to me, in a really big way, like a surprisingly big way, like a surprise bonus or a some sort of windfall in some way. It feels really good. Now, your Imbolc oracle here is forged in fire. Isn't that fabulous? Number 21. Your strength was crafted through adversity, a mastery only you behold. Interesting, given what we've seen. Your strength was crafted through adversity, a mastery only you behold. This really speaks of tending to the aspects that are, like we were talking about before, that aren't necessarily the glamorous bits that are going to take some work and getting your hands dirty, I'm hearing. But I'm hearing if it's all for the greater purpose, then it's all going to be worth it. Again, I can't say this enough. Change is good, compromise is not. So I really feel like you're being asked to put into your cauldron and transmute everything that's happening around you, that it is, change related. And really looking at what you're willing to sacrifice, what you're not, what feels right for you and your integrity, what doesn't, but also look at the details, right? With that Page of Swords and that hummingbird energy, right? And then transforming into that finch, right? There's something about that transformation and change where I feel like there's something that you could miss or something that you're not quite seeing because you're looking at a big picture as opposed to the little pictures that make, okay, if you're looking at a big picture and then you zoom in, right? And you see it's actually a collage made up of tiny little pictures. You're being asked to look at the tiny little pictures that make up the bigger one. Look at the small micro ways in which your choices, sculpt your reality. Look at the small little nonverbal communications you have with your fellow work employees, your partner, your family members, yourself. Look at the little things because they hold the most insight and the most value for you right now. The big picture is wonderful, Cancer, but you've got to look at the little parts that make up that big picture, all the moving cogs and parts that are necessary for that big picture to actually take form for you and manifest. They're little things that you're missing. They're little things that some of which are not as fun, like I said, like are kind of boring or kind of like, oh God, this is not the fun part, but it's necessary. I'm seeing an image of someone like cleaning the house. There's the not fun parts of cleaning the house that you're being asked to really look at and do first. What's that saying? Like when you have stuff to do on a list, like eat the frog first. Is that? Let me know in the comments. It's either a frog or some sort of other animal. Eat the frog first, meaning do the stuff that you're not looking forward to the most first, and the rest of it will seem easier. I feel like there's some sort of housekeeping around something regarding you, and I feel like you know what this is that just needs to be sorted and taken care of. Are you going to talk about it, or are you actually going to do it? And then watch those little bits come into place to form that bigger picture. Something about that Cancerian. It just feels incredibly important, and it feels like the time is now. Because all these little bits coming into play are going to, form this magician reality moment where you're manifesting. Look at this like magician with his tools and then this cauldron here. This is what's in the energy for you right now with this Ace of Pentacles. Look at this. Synchronicities. With the Pentacle and the Pentacle here, right? I could just feel like there's this focus around like, look at the details, ask for advice, look at how others did something, look at what you might be missing, right? Just as a random example, although it's anything really random. As a random example, let's say that you're at a job where you feel like you put in more time and work and effort than you're actually paid for. Well, might it behoove you to don't be sneaky about it, but maybe do some research as to what the going rate is for someone in your line of work and see how that matches up, or even talking to other people in the office about, do they feel good about whatever, go about this in your own way. But just an example, like, are other people making what they feel that they're worth? And like, how does that, right? There's something about doing your investigative work and looking at the finer points and details for stuff that might be a little bit uncomfortable and feel like, oh God, do I really want to go there? But there's information here for you that is going to change your reality should you access it. Okay? So this feels like. Be the emperor about it, right? And go for what you're worth. Because that's asking you shall receive. You got to know what to ask for first and have the evidence to back up, like, or even sort of help sculpt what that looks like for you, right? To inform it. So beautiful, Cancerians. I'm excited to see what you brew in the upcoming months. With that being said, I so hope that this helps and resonates. Cancerians, please let me know in the comments below how you're doing, what's going on, what you think of this reading. I try to respond to each and every comment. So I'd love to hear from you. Please like this video. Please subscribe, share, all of the good stuff. I would so appreciate that. I really appreciate you watching this right now. Everyone, every single one of you, I appreciate your time and your presence. I just so grateful for each and every one of you. And with that being said, and most of all, as always, Cancers, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.